What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Horseshoe. My name is Matt. Over by me is Alec. Alec, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Ready to talk some football. It was a really exciting week.
Absolutely great Monday night football game that we'll get into a little bit later, as well as a great Sunday for football in general. But I mean, it's always great in one because football's back. I mean, we got to be real. It's always great. But we're going to be talking about the Monday night football game in a little bit. We're also going to be talking about Chandler Jones's fantastic game against the Titans. We're going to get into some of the injury news, and then, of course, we're going to predict week 2. Everybody, just dive into the comments. Let us know how you're doing when we get to the predictions as we go through each game. Give us your prediction on who's going to win each game. Also, just as we talk about each story, give us your thoughts and notes as well. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about that Monday night football game against the Raiders and Ravens. I mean, what a game. I mean, so fourth quarter, it's what, 17-10. And then all of a sudden, Raiders come in. They start doing their thing. Their defense starts stepping up. And, they go to overtime. I believe it said this was the first time in 98 games where the Ravens lost when they had a 14-point lead, which is absolutely crazy. But, goes to overtime. Derek Carr doing his thing. He steps up big, as well as that defense. What was your thoughts in the game?
My biggest takeaway was that defense, dude. Like, they had Lamar Jackson. I think he only really got away for a couple big runs. Mm-hmm. Nothing too crazy, not a touchdown. And, a lot of his game is based off of those big runs, off of broken plays, and they seem to be able to contain him really well. Mm-hmm. And when he was just dropping back passing, Max Crosby was an absolute animal on that edge. So, great defense. Good for Derek Carr and Darren Waller, another, show-out performance. But my biggest takeaway was the defense.
Yeah, me too. That defense was absolutely fantastic. And the defense for the Raiders in the past hasn't really been all that great. Mm-hmm. That was their biggest flaw, I felt, last year was that defense. And now this year, I think it's the offensive line more than anything. The offensive line I didn't think was all too bad for the Raiders.
No.
But still, I think the defense took enough of a step up to be better than the offensive line. And I think, if they can patch up that offensive line, play a complete game, this Raiders team could be really scary.
Yeah, and I was really looking at Alex Leatherwood because that was a huge reach in the draft this year.
Yeah.
And he did really well. I think not perfect, but better than I honestly expected. So they got to be happy to see that. But, the Raiders defense hasn't been great since they traded Khalil Mack for those 3 picks, the first thing John Gruden did. So to see that they were able to find a kind of a guy that I haven't really heard of that much until he started blowing up on the Raiders is Max Crosby. Yeah. So, they have him, Ryan Nassib on the side. Carl Nassib. On the inside, really good defense overall. They do need help on the corner side, but there's always a million of them in the draft every year. You just got to hit on one.
True. Yeah, and it is difficult to hit on those corners in the draft too because you never know. Some of them late round could be great. Some of them aren't the greatest. I'll get to some of the comments real quick. What's going on, Corey? Hope you're doing well today. And then we got Alpha Foxy 94 saying the defense killed the last night. Yeah, they were absolutely fantastic. And look, I was a little worried because I had a little bit of money on Henry Ruggs hitting 40 yards. I was a little worried that he wasn't going to do anything. And then
he got at the end.
He got it at the end, and I felt very happy about that. Josh Jacobs expected a little more on the run game from him, but he still, I thought, played pretty well yesterday. But yeah, Derek Carr. And then there's who's that white receiver they have?
Hunter Renfro, man. That dude is really good.
Yeah, I was not expecting him to do anything at all yesterday. Honestly, never even heard of the guy until yesterday. And he goes out there. He's just balling out. Absolutely dominated yesterday. So if he's available in your fantasy league, go snack him up. If you need a receiver, go take him. Because
I know more. I know more about the baseball player Hunter Renfro than I know about this guy Hunter Renfro. So to see him perform like that, if you haven't picked him up, pick him up.
Definitely.
I want to say also Josh Jacobs, and I tweeted. I tweeted last night and my brother saw it when Josh Jacobs was just like having a really bad night. I said, I don't think this is the guy. I don't know. I just don't see it in him. Never really have. And if that foot's going to continue to be a problem, I don't know if he's the guy in Oakland. In Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will get better over time. I mean, that first year he was in the NFL, I mean, he was really, really good, and then he just had injuries after that. And I'm hoping that there aren't any injuries. Maddie, you better stop it, okay? I mean, at least we did better than the Titans did. We'll get into that later, though.
Only one team here came out with a win, though.
Yeah, only one team. Look, the AFC North, Ravens, Browns both lost. The Bengals are tied for first. The Texans are first in their league. The Eagles are first in their division. Nobody won in the AFC. What's the division? AFC.
The NFC North, they had no wins.
NFC North. That's what I was thinking. Why did I say AFC? NFC North. Yeah, no wins. It's madness. But hey, you know what? Who knows? We'll find out as the year goes on.
I gotta hold on to this as long as I can.
Hey,
it won't last.
Hold on to it. I mean, look, I wouldn't blame it. Look, Colts. I'll make fun of the Colts real quick. We got a banner, for AFC finalist or whatever, AFC championship finalist. So get yourself a banner that says we were first in the AFC South in 2021.
Yeah, why not?
For first week. Just do that. And then, yes, a loss is a loss. I do agree with that, Maddie. And then he says, what the heck is it, 2020? Yeah, look, it doesn't, it wouldn't surprise me if we were stuck in 2020 with all the craziness going on. And, yeah, NFC West. Well, we'll definitely get into that in a little bit. Everybody there looks really good in the NFC West for sure. But for Josh Jacobs, though, I think bringing in Kenyon Drake was really good for him because now he's not going to be running as much. So you can let Jacobs rest a little bit, put Drake in there, let him do his thing, and then you could toss in Jacobs again. I think if you can keep Jacobs healthy, he's going to be one of the best running backs in the league. Maybe like top 10, potentially top 5, because he does have the talent to do so. It's just health. He gets that foot injury. I mean, the first quarter already was dealing with injuries. So hopefully he does get better because I think this Raiders team could really use him because as you get closer to the end of the season, they might be battling for a playoff spot. I don't see them winning their division, but I do think they're going to battle for a spot. But I do want to get into Chandler Jones because we were talking about the Titans losing earlier. Chandler Jones, man. I mean, what a game. 5 sacks, which I believe tied a Cardinals franchise record for most sacks in a game. He had 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. I mean, the guy was an absolute monster. I didn't watch the game because it was on the same time as the Colts-Seahawks game.
Same, yeah.
But the guy looked, just looking at his stats, looking at the highlights, because they kept showing, highlights from the game as the Colts game was going on. And the guy was just absolutely dominating that game. I mean, what was your takeaway from Chandler Jones and just how he dominated?
Yeah, I've always liked Chandler Jones, even when he was in New England, but I never expected this. Like, this dude was all over Ryan Tannehill, wasn't allowing anything to happen. And I mean, up front too, the entire defensive line really did a great job of stopping Derrick Henry. He had the added bonus of Kyler Murray going off, so able to play with a little more loosely. I think that also helped, but great performance by Chandler Jones and just a great performance from the entire Arizona Cardinals team. That team is looking really good. This is the defense and the team that I wanted to see last year. But we all know the question is, can Kyler Murray be consistent with it? And I think he can. I'm a believer in Kyler Murray, so I'm hoping that's what happens.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, the Cardinals, when we were doing our predictions, I took the Cardinals in this game, not just because of, AFC South, reasons, but the Cardinals last year was one of those teams that, 1 week they'll look incredible. They'll look like the best team in the NFL. And then another week, they just won't look that good. If they can put it together, they are definitely one of the more scary teams in the NFL and a team that you wouldn't really want to face in the playoffs. So I thought adding J.J. Watt was a big piece. Getting Green onto the team is big as well. I thought adding these pieces is going to really help them come together and really going to make them good. And look, I know some people were worried that AJ Green would get upset that he's not getting the ball as much. I think AJ Green went to Arizona knowing I'm not going to get the ball a whole lot because they got DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, DeAndre is going to get the ball because that's just he's probably the best receiver in the NFL. So he's going to get the ball, and then I'll get the ball from time to time. So I never saw that as an issue, like some people thought that it could potentially be. But yeah, I mean, it looks like they're putting it together. Chandler Jones, absolutely loved him, and I do agree, Matt. He does look so freaking good. And then he also brings up the whole team looked like they clicked better than they did last year. Just with the highlights I saw, they definitely did. You just got to make sure Kyler does his thing.
Yeah, and I think that's a testament to J.J. Watt being brought in. That's what you bring J.J. in for. You bring him in to create some leadership, because Chandler Jones now, he doesn't have to worry about being the leader on the defense like he had to worry about last year. He can just go out there and do his thing, and he's a monster, man. So allowing him to play more freely without having to worry about being the defensive leader on that team, I think it freed him up, and seeing how the rest of that defense is playing, definitely give a big load of credit to JJ for that, I think.
Right. And I think I had them projected to go third in that division just because I thought the 49ers were going to be that team, and then the Rams. I mean, and the Rams looked like what I thought they were probably going to be too.
Yeah, they're probably my favorite to win the division.
I still have the Rams there, but I think I have to put the Cardinals ahead of the I have to put the Cardinals ahead of the 49ers. And then Matt did bring up a point that Kyler did hurt his shoulder last year, which is true. So if they can keep him healthy.
Yeah, he was on an MVP kind of trajectory. Yeah. We were all talking about him as possible MVP for that year. And then he was the shoulder injury.
Yeah, he was definitely one of my early on the year. He was one of my top 3 guys I could win. It was like him, Russell Wilson, and then I think Aaron Rodgers. I think I had those 3, and then Aaron ended up winning it. And then Matty did try to jump in, but his connection isn't stable enough. Hey, if you get that connection stable enough, you're more than welcome to hop in. You definitely are more than welcome to join. And then Nomadic Brian, how you doing, man? He says the NFC West is pretty good. Absolutely. I think they're the best division in the league. Just from top to bottom. I think the worst team in that division could be second or first in most divisions in the NFL. Look, once you get to divisional play with those guys, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and that's when we're going to find out who out of those guys are really going to be contenders to make a big run. And then Matt also says he thinks him and Kingsbury have gotten over their slump. I think so, too. I think, Kingsbury has, he's gotten used to how the NFL operates and whatnot, and I think he's getting used to it, and I think it's really going to help him out. So, Chandler Jones, I wanted the Colts to trade for him. That was somebody I really wanted to add, he looks better than I thought he was going to be this year. But I do want to get into some of the injuries real quick. I'm just going to, because there was quite a bit of injuries. It was just guys that got hurt and, were out for the game, and it doesn't look like they're going to be out for that long. They should be back the following week. So I'll talk about the guys that are probably going to miss some time. First guy, Jerry Jeudy, Denver Broncos receiver. Denver can't catch a break. Denver just can't catch a break at all because last year, Courtland Sutton got hurt. And Courtland Sutton is somebody who I think is a number 1 receiver for Denver and for other teams. I think that guy's just that good. He got hurt last year. Von Miller got hurt. Just a bunch of injuries. And now Jerry Jeudy did get hurt. And, he's going to be out probably for a couple games, if I would assume. I don't think it's a season-ending injury. They haven't said anything about it. But, unfortunately, Jerry Jeudy did suffer that injury. Had to be carted off with the high ankle sprain.
That's what it was.
Yeah, so he won't be out too long, it looks like. And then with Washington, Ryan Fitzpatrick unfortunately had a hip injury. He's going to be out for a few weeks at least. not something that I wanted to see. I thought Washington with Ryan Fitzpatrick is a team that could really just go out there and not only win the NFC West or East. I think they can cause a lot of noise in the playoffs and
Mhm.
maybe upset some teams too. Uh, that was the guy. I think he was the piece they needed. Is he the best quarterback in the league? No, he's not. But I thought he was definitely the piece that they needed to contend because that defense is so good.
Mhm.
Another guy I want to talk about, Jeff Akuda. Unfortunately, he's out for the year. He got hurt in that game against the 49ers. It was his second year, I believe, this year. It's his second year.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's out for the year.
the number 3 overall pick last year.
Yeah, so it sucks to see him go out because he looks like he's gonna have a pretty good year or a pretty good career.
Mhm.
So we'll see how he does there.
Ohio State is DBU.
Yep, Ohio State is DBU, just not safety U.
No.
And then the last guy I'll bring up, and I'll let you kind of give your thoughts on these guys. The Saints did lose Marshawn Lattimore. He had an injury with his thumb, and he's going to be missing some time as well.
Mhm.
So what are your thoughts on all these injuries?
I think the one that probably has the most impact right now is going to be the Marshawn Lattimore one. Like he just, sorry, with knowing how good that offense can be, you really are kind of really hope that the defense can hold over until Lattimore comes back because they look like they could possibly make a run for that wild card spot. When I thought that this team is probably going to finish like in tough and with the top like 10 pick, but I mean, hopefully he can come back sooner rather than later. We've seen guys with hand injuries kind of be able to play with those hand injuries if you're playing defense. So, hopefully he can be back soon. And same thing with Jerry Jeudy, man. Like, I was really excited for Jerry Jeudy. He was my number one receiver coming out last year. Kind of had like a disappointing year, but he was also forced to step up when Sutton went down. So I was really hoping to see him make that leap up into the to wide receiver one. Look good, and then and I agree with what Matt said here that he thought that the injury looked worse than it was going to be. So did I. I thought he tore his ACL.
Yeah, I just based on what everything looked like, just when they showed the highlight and everything during the game, or not during the game because they were at 4. It was during the Packers game that I was watching. It looked bad. Like I thought, he could potentially be done for the year, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So thankfully he'll be back later this year because I do agree. I think he's going to have a great year this year for sure. But real quick, just want to get your thoughts on the other 2 guys that got hurt. It was Akuda and Fitzpatrick, and then I'll get into some of the comments, and then we'll get into our predictions for the week.
Yeah, the Akuda one is just disappointing just because I really like Akuda, and I wanted to see him play even though he's not going to be playing for anything really. But, he's young, so you hope that injury can heal pretty fast and he'll be back next year. So I'm not feeling too crazy. I mean, not too like worried about Akuda's. And the Fitz Magic one, that's a product of old age. Like he's getting up there. And all it's doing is giving Heineke, yeah, that's Heineke, right? The chance to ball out like he did last year in that playoff game, almost beat Brady. So let him get some reps in. Maybe he'll be the answer at quarterback. If not, they'll be picking top 5, and they can get one of those quarterbacks next year. So, it's just Fitzpatrick is on the way out. That's all.
Yeah, I thought there was a chance he could retire this year. I really wanted him to go to a team that could legitimately make the playoffs. I thought Washington is a team that can make the playoffs just because you never know what the NFC East.
NFC East, yeah. They have a different winner like every year.
Yeah, but I felt the defense of Washington with the guys they have at the receiver, Gibson's a beast. Adding Fitzmagic into the mix, I thought was the key that they needed to really do good things. And unfortunately, he ended up getting a hip injury. Matt, he had a hip injury. I'm not sure who hit him exactly, but he got hit pretty hard, had to be taken out, and now they're saying he's going to be out for a few weeks. And Hopefully he can stay healthy when he comes back for the rest of the year, because I would like to see what he can do potentially in the playoffs. Yeah, get in with 5 wins, definitely. But I think Washington has the team where they can win more than 5. I think they're kind of a sleeper team, honestly. And then he says Fitz no magic. Oh, not Sunday, but he'll bring the magic. And then Nomadic Brian says sorry for the players with injuries. Absolutely. There was a lot of injuries, but I mean, the guys are going to be back. Like they either came back in the game or it wasn't too awful bad for them. And then Maddie, going back to Kingsbury, he says that second year can be tough. Absolutely. For both quarterbacks, any player in general, and coaching, it can absolutely be rough for them. Some people can play better than most in their second year. I mean, look at Peyton. First year, not great. Then Peyton Manning comes in his second year and has a really good year, leads them to the playoffs, I believe. Really changed things for them. And then Al Foxy says, what did you guys think about the Bears and Rams game? I was not surprised with what I saw in that game. I wasn't expecting the Bears to win. I saw a lot that actually surprisingly makes me confident for the Colts, and I'll get into that when we talk about the game. But Matthew Stafford, he looked like what we thought he would look like when he's on a good team. I mean, he's got 2 really good receivers, and look, he had 2 really good receivers last year too, with Galladay and Marvin Jones, but he has a good defense now, has a good offensive line. I mean, he has a good team all around and better coaching than he's ever had. So he's got that offensive-minded guy to coach him. Yeah, but I mean, I thought this would have been a great fit. I thought it would have been a great fit in Indy too, but I think he was too much for the Colts, and he went to Los Angeles, and yeah, they're going to be contending for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I like Matt Stafford a lot. I knew that I like you saw this coming. He's one of the best. There's a reason that even though the Lions have been bad in most of his years, no one ever blames it on Matthew Stafford. Like, he's always been kind of the one where they're the one shining light on that Detroit Lions team. So him going over here, I was just really excited to see him with Sean McVay. Like, seeing Sean McVay have the coach that the player that he wanted, the quarterback that can really can show up and do all the throws that Sean McVay wants to do. So I'm excited, and I was kind of impressed by the Bears defense too, and what the Bears did. They kept it a game. I know it kind of fell apart at the end, but they're gonna beat some bad teams for sure. So if they can take advantage of that defense and Andy Dalton not turn the ball over in the end zone, that would be great.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought Andy Dalton, for his first game with the Bears, I thought he played pretty good. I mean, he wasn't great or anything like that, but I thought he did well. He doesn't have that good of an offensive line in Chicago. That's definitely something that they need to work on and fix. Obviously, the guy they drafted is not playing. Jenkins isn't playing, so that definitely does take a hit on this team. But I still think Andy Dalton, and I've been saying this, I think Andy Dalton is a good quarterback. I mean, he took the Bengals to playoffs, before. And we know how the Bengals are. Maybe things are different now with Burrow, and they look good. But, I mean, Andy Dalton's a good quarterback. Dallas didn't work because Dallas was just not a good team. I like Andy Dalton, and honestly, let him play a couple weeks. Let's get past the Browns at least. I know we were talking about that a little bit. Let's get past the Browns. Then we can put in Justin Fields later if you feel like Justin Fields is ready to go. But, yeah, I mean, I think Andy Dalton's a solid quarterback. I think give him, the right guys, and he'll do some good things. And then Nomadic Brian says, no hard feelings on Stafford not coming here. Glad he's on a good team. Long overdue for him. I'm very happy for him, too. Would have loved to have had him here. Not for the price that the Rams paid, necessarily. Giving up a couple first-rounders and a quarterback. But, I would have liked to have had him here. I'm not too upset. But, yeah, I'm glad he's on a good team because it seems like he's genuinely happy to be on a good team. Like, he feels like he, is really happy. So that's good for him. And Corey says, play Fields already. But in all seriousness, Dalton was decent. I think Fields is going to play this year for sure. I'm thinking probably week 4 is the first week you would play, just so you can get by Myles Garrett and not have to worry about, both him and Aaron Donald getting in your face in the first 2 of 3 weeks. So I do expect that to happen. And then Alf Foxy 94 says all the players getting hurt over at there. Yeah, they do definitely have those injuries for sure. Unfortunately, but
Yeah.
we'll definitely see. I think the Bears. What's really going to hurt the Bears this year is not the offense. If Andy Dalton's playing, it's going to be that secondary. Getting rid of Fuller was not a good move for them. I understand that Fuller was probably not going to last there anyway. I believe he was a free agent anyway. Maybe they did a sign and trade, or it was his last year, and he already expressed that he wasn't coming back. But still, that secondary, they need to work on that too. So now we're going to get into our predictions for this upcoming week. I realized I had banners, right? And I didn't play these banners. I'm a little upset, but I just remembered I created these banners at like 7 something in the morning when I got home from work. And I was like, okay, I'll create these banners. We're going to put them up. Nope, forgot. So we're going to do it now. So we're going to dive into week 2. And as we go through each game, you guys make sure you guys put down your predictions for who you believe will win each game we talk about. We're going to start off with the Thursday night football game first, and that is between the New York Giants and the Washington football team. Both teams have not won a game yet. I'm going to go to you, Alec, first in this game. Who do you have winning this game and why?
So this is not as cut and dry because it is a division game. You already know how those can be. So kind of having a hard time predicting this one. My gut saying Washington. The defense, still the defense. Yes, you're missing Heineke. I mean, you're missing Fitzmagic, but you have Heineke, who's not bad, and this Giants defense is not a good defense. So my gut saying Washington. I think it's going to be a hard fought game because these divisional games. There's a reason they put them on Monday Night Football all the time because they're really great games. So I'm gonna say Washington. Hopefully, for my fantasy football team's sake, Saquon finally wakes up, but I'm not expecting it to be in this game.
Yeah. For me, I know this is tough too because Thursday night football games are weird. They're just weird. Yeah. Things happen in the game that you don't expect. Teams that, normally aren't expected to win, most of the time will win. Now, there are those exceptions, like the Colts and Titans Thursday night game last year. Colts won, expected. But really, there's a lot of games where, the teams that you would think would win end up losing. And for me, I'm going to go the Giants in this game. Okay. The Giants have a good defense. A lot of people don't realize, even though Washington has the better defense, I think the Giants have they had a top 10 defense last year. It was just the offense couldn't get anything done. And I'll tell you what, that first game, I thought Danny Dimes played well. I thought Daniel Jones actually played good football. Maybe adding a Kenny Golladay to the mix helped him. And like I've said before, everybody, I think, would agree, this is the most important year that, Daniel Jones will have in his career, because if he doesn't play well this year, he's gone. And he's probably going to be a backup for the rest of his career, unless he goes to a team that has no quarterback, that really needs a quarterback, and then maybe he wins that job. But I thought he played well in that game by what I saw. He was not the reason why the Giants lost that game at all. So I'm actually going to go the Giants in this game. I think they have the defense to shut down Heineke and, to at least contain Gibson from doing what Gibson does. It's going to be tough to stop Scary Terry, but I think they can at least hold him off from getting, 100 whatever yards. I think they have the defense to do so. And I think the Giants, with Barkley back, I think they have the team to really win this game. It's Thursday night. It's weird. The Washington football team should win this game, but I think because it's Thursday night, and with Heineke being the quarterback for Washington, I'm actually going to give it to the Giants in this game. Now I'm going to go to the comments. Nomadic Brian says Washington football team is going to win. Defense. Alpha Foxy says the football team, better offense and defense. Maddie says that Washington football team to take the win. Nomadic Brian says I had a bold take, which I do agree, but it's Thursday night. It's weird. Maddie says that Daniel Jones could have a similar career to Matt Barkley. That is definitely
That's
something
bad.
that could be. That definitely
Yeah.
could be the case. But look, Matt Barkley, he went to Buffalo last year, right?
Mhm.
And when Josh Allen was out, and you put Barkley in, they almost won that game against New England, or it was 2 years ago because Brady was still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
They almost beat the Patriots with Matt Barkley coming in at the end. Like that was crazy. So I'm gonna go. I think the Giants, they're gonna surprise some people. So now,
I agree with you with the Thursday night football. Like Thursday night football is not easy to predict.
definitely.
On these short weeks, weird players will show out. Get prepared to hear a bunch of crazy waiver wire picks after because someone's gonna go off. But I might just be mad at Daniel Jones because I tweeted out Daniel Jones was looking really good so far, and then as soon as I tweet that, I should probably just stop tweeting. As soon as I did that, he threw an interception.
Yeah.
Or no, he fumbled. He fumbled the ball.
Yeah, it was a fumble, but
Like,
no, I thought still he looked pretty good. But
he did.
then again, I said the same thing last year after that Steelers game. He looked pretty good, and then went back to Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
So, that could be something to happen in this game. And then Maddie did say that he learned under Carson Palmer. Very true. Now we're going to go on to the next game, which is going to be the New England Patriots traveling to New York to take on the Jets. Both are 0-1, so congrats to the Jets. You're finally tied with New England in your division standing, so good for you. I'm going to go first on this game. Mac Jones, I thought, played pretty well in his first game with the Patriots against the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are much better than what some people think they are. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go Patriots in this game. They should win this game relatively easily. I don't think the Jets have enough to take down the Patriots. I think the Patriots defense is going to be able to handle the Jets offense. And I don't think the Jets defense is really going to be able to stop the Patriots offense in this game. I'm going Patriots, probably big, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Same. Patriots, big. Mac Jones, who I was not a big fan of. I'm liking more. Not becoming a fan yet, but I am liking what I'm seeing. They need to get him a legit number one receiver over there for sure, but that'll come later. But yeah, just this defense is going to be too good for the Jets. And when I talk about Zach Wilson and Corey Davis being a duo to pay attention to, I'm talking about like later on in the year once they like really got their legs together and they connected a little bit more. That doesn't start yet. This is going to be a blowout. I don't know about 40-3, Maddie, but it could be. It very well could be.
Yeah. Now, maybe Zach Wilson and Corey Davis really turn it on when they play the Titans this year. If they play the Titans, that would be the game where they really click.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But all seriousness, I'm going to go to some of the comments. Maddie is also taking the Pats in this game. He's taking them. He said 40-0 at first, and then decided to be a little more generous and said 40-3. So
it's hard to goose egg somebody.
It's gonna be tough, especially once you get to 40. It's the defense doesn't care at that point.
Yeah.
It's like whatever. We did our job. And Nomadic Brian says the Patriots, the Jets still have a long way to go to mediocre. Absolutely do agree with that. So now we're gonna go to the next game, and it's gonna be the Broncos and the Jaguars. Teddy Bridgewater gets the win for Denver in that first game. Now they're going to Jacksonville to take on the probably starting to have heart problems, Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to go to you first. Who do you have in this game and why?
Excuse me. So I'm a big fan of the Broncos team. They really the only problem with that Broncos team was the quarterback, and Teddy Bridgewater is a huge step up from Drew Lock. So I think this team's going to be really good. And as you saw with the Texans, this Jaguars team is going to be so bad. Like, I love that the Texans won, but I know what we were doing. I know what team we were playing. I'm not going to be all crazy about how good Tyrod Taylor looked. Tyrod Taylor looked like Deshaun Watson out there against this Jaguars defense. So I'm expecting probably the same thing from Teddy Bridgewater. The defense looks good. I saw that clip of Von Miller talking to Teddy Bridgewater, and he said it felt like he hasn't felt this way since like Peyton was there. So that's a big thing that I'm thinking of being a factor on how good this team is clicking. So Broncos probably another blowout for the Jaguars against the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is going to throw another 2 picks when he'll end up with 5. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be good, but this is just not the team for him. And it sucks because he's used to is winning. He's not used to being this bad, and unfortunately, when you're this bad, he'll be able to pad some stats, but it's going to be a rough time for him this weekend.
Look, I'm really rooting for Trevor Lawrence, man. I'm rooting for him to break Peyton Manning's record for most interceptions thrown in a rookie season. I really hope he does this year, and he's so far on his way. He's on his way to it. I'm very curious.
The Texans had 3 interceptions all year last year, and they already picked off Trevor Lawrence. So he's off to a really good start. That's his goal.
Yeah, look, it's already 3. The only way you can go up. The only way they can go, I guess, is up from last year. So, I'm very curious because, maybe Peyton Manning wasn't the guy that had the most interceptions, in a season. He had his first year, he had 28 interceptions. 28. Which I do believe, now looking at it, is a record for a rookie. So let's throw 29. You're 26 away, Trevor. You can do it, buddy. I believe in you. I'm going to go Broncos as well in this game. I think the Broncos defense is going to shut Jacksonville's offense completely out. I think their defense is really, really good. And then also, I think Teddy Bridgewater was the piece that Denver needed. I was so confident in Teddy, in Carolina. Things didn't really work out all that great, but Denver is like perfect for him. And I can kind of see what Von Miller's saying, where it's like when Peyton was there, because they have the defense. Mm-hmm. They got the guys on offense. They just needed the quarterback. Peyton was the guy for them at that time.
All you have to do is not give away the ball. All you have to do is not give away the ball if you're Teddy.
Yeah, just
because his defense is that good.
He just has to manage the game. Don't turn it over much, and I think they can win. But look, I think Jacksonville down the road is going to be good. I don't think they're there yet. They definitely have the pieces to build upon something that's really good. But I think Denver. I don't know if they're going to win that division. I still think Kansas City wins that division. But Denver's going to finish second, I believe. I think they're that good. I've been saying Denver, they needed the quarterback. I was hoping Drew Lock could have been that guy. I was hoping he would have bounced back and had a really good year. But look, I'm happy for Teddy. I think they win this game rather easily. I'm going to go back to the comments. Al Foxy said the Jets with the new defense can beat the Patriots. They all play them hard. That is true, and it is also a divisional game too. Mm-hmm. So they definitely can go in there. Maybe they can cause Mac Jones to throw a couple picks. But I don't know. I just think the Pats, they're just much better. But hey, wouldn't surprise me if an upset happened, especially since they have a rookie quarterback there. And then Maddie, I think he was talking about the Jets Patriots game. He says it's talking about the goose egg. He said it was really hard for a goose egg. He said it really is. Nomadic Brian in this game is taking the Broncos, says Teddy looks like he's a good fit there. Defense is always good. Absolutely. What is going on? Big play Slay. Hey, Saul, you're almost at 800 subs. Congrats to you on that. You're going to definitely hit that very, very soon. And it's well deserved. Matty is taking the Broncos, and he thinks they have figured it out, or they have figured out the puzzle that they needed figured out. Al Foxy says that the Panthers will win. Teddy is a great quarterback and pushes hands down one of the best running backs. And then Matty says not as good as not as a rookie, but Eli has thrown 28. I didn't see Eli on the list, but that wouldn't surprise me either. If he threw 28 interceptions, somebody threw 42 interceptions in a season. So, I mean, anything can happen at this point.
How many was it for Jameis when he basically matched his touchdown total?
I think it was 30.
30 something. That's
30 or 32. I'll pull that up.
I just always remember for every touchdown he threw, he would throw an interception.
He had 30 interceptions.
Yeah.
33 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. George Blanda on Houston in 1962, I think it was the Oilers, had 42 interceptions.
Jesus.
And then after him was Vinny Testaverde.
Testaverde?
Yep, with 35.
Jeez.
That was for Tampa Bay. So, hey, could we potentially see a record? Maybe.
It's possible.
But, and then, Eli threw one season, he threw 27. So, he was one off from Peyton. It's only one off. But, so we're both taking the Broncos in this game. Now we're going to go on to the next game, which is the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, another divisional matchup. You have the team that's leading the AFC East right now, hosting the Bills, who surprisingly didn't play as good as what we thought they were going to. I think the Bills bounce back in this game. Either it was just a bad day for them, or the Steelers are just that good. Because the Steelers, they got that running back they needed, and their defense is still really good. I mean, they got T.J. Watt, so and they still have most of the guys from last year. They still have a good defense. Their offense, I think, is better. So, I mean, maybe they're just that good. But the Bills, I think, are going to bounce back in this game. I think they win this game. It's going to be a really good game. I think Miami does a lot of good things in this game. I think Tua's going to have a really big game, but I got to go with the Bills. Who do you got in this game?
Yeah, I want to pick the Dolphins, but I think that all we saw last week, I said last week that the rumors of Steelers' demise had been greatly exaggerated. I think we're exaggerating the Bills' loss. I think that was a hard-fought game. That's possibly a playoff game this year. So I'm not going to hold it against the Bills that much. I think the Bills are going to come in against the Dolphins team, who I thought was going to handle the Patriots, and kind of the defense is really good, but Tua is still kind of struggling. Him and Waddle did connect again, which is that's a good sign. But I think that we're gonna see a huge game from Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. All that talk of how good they were last year. Josh Allen just got his big contract. I don't think they're gonna regress. I think they're gonna have a really big year, and so I think I'm gonna take the Bills. This is gonna be another hard fought game. Another divisional game. These. Week 2 seems to be the week of divisional games, and that's a good thing for the NFL. But I think the Bills are going to take care of the Dolphins.
Yes, and we also got to remember when it comes to the Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he doesn't look like he's slowing down. He probably could play another year or two. In all honesty, he's still a good football player, and they got a good team around him. So
I think
really good team.
Yeah, I think that was just all kind of overblown with the Ben Roethlisberger thing. People forget that Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season yet. So I was expecting a good game from the Steelers and the Bills, and that's really what we got. I don't think it had anything to do with the Bills looking bad. It's just they played a really good defense.
True, and I just think they're that good. But we both agree Bills will bounce back in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Nomadic Brian agrees. Bills bounce back. We had the same thought, definitely. And then Alpha Foxy says Bills win this game. It's a comeback game and to get the ball rolling. Very, very true. So now we're going to hop over to the next game. If I pull the banner up, there we go. And it is the 49ers traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. I'm going to go to you first on this one. How do you see this game going?
See, I'm torn, man, because this is another game where I was on the good side for Jalen Hurts this week, and I want to see him have another game like he had this past week. But this 49ers team seems like they're going to be picking up where they left off. They did just lose Raheem Mostert. Mm-hmm. They just put him on IR. Everyone's talking about picking up this Eli Mitchell kid. I even picked up Eli Mitchell in a few leagues to see what all the fuss is about. But I think this is going to be a very good game for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think this defense is not good in Philly, or their secondary is not very good. So I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be holding Trey Lance from starting back a little bit further. Him and Debo looked really good, and so I'm gonna go 49ers. I'm hoping that Jalen Hurts has a great game, but I'm gonna go 49ers.
Yeah. So I have said in the past that I am not confident in Jalen Hurts. I've said I just didn't have the confidence in him. He didn't really show me last year that he could become a franchise guy. I thought, the reason why Carson didn't have a great year was because they didn't have the offensive line to protect him. They didn't have the defense. They didn't have receivers. They had nobody. Nobody could stay healthy, and that affected Carson. So I, went in like, yeah, Jalen I think is more mobile because he wasn't hit as much, but I don't think he's going to be the guy, especially down the road. And Jalen had a great game against the Falcons, but he had a great game.
Yeah.
And Jalen actually came by. He's actually here right now. So here's Jalen. So we got Jalen Hurts here. Look, I'm sorry, Jalen. I'm really sorry. You had a really good game. Okay, Rager looked good, but you guys played the Falcons. The Falcons are not a good team. They're going to be in the bottom 5 again. You might only win one game this year, and that will be 2 games because of the Cowboys. You might win 2 games, and that's perfectly fine. But you're going to lose this game. You're going to lose bad. I'm sorry. I'm going big. 49ers big. Defense is just – I'll set you down, Jalen. Defense is just too good on the 49ers for this Eagles offense. And the 49ers offense is going to just get the ball moving consistently. They're going to have no problem in this game. Yeah, they did lose Mozart, but I don't think it's enough to hurt them. I'm sorry, big play Slay. I'm sorry, but I have to go with the 49ers in this game. I honestly really do hope in one of these games we see Gardner Minshew out there, just because I want to see what he looks like, playing with the Eagles. I want to see, can he do similar things or better things than Jalen Hurts? Because, look, I think Gardner Minshew's not a bad quarterback. I actually think you put him on a good team, he'll do good things. I mean, he was on a terrible Jacksonville team the last few years. And that first year he came in, he did good things. He looked good for a good chunk of the year, but he just didn't have the team. I think if he's on the team now with the team they had or have right now, I think they would have some success. Not a lot, but I think they would have some success. So, going to go 49ers. Nomadic Brian also says 49ers will keep rolling. The defense will do it. And he does say that Jalen has really big ears. Absolutely. They are really big ears.
I can't say nothing. That's my fellow Houston native, man. I can't badmouth him.
I totally understand it. But you have Jalen Hurts. I have Brendan Fraser. It's fine.
Yeah. I was gonna say the funny thing about this 49ers team is that the defense, like it's known for being so good, but when Garoppolo's here, like we don't ever really seem to worry about his offense. Like we never really worry about the offense. We're just like the defense is gonna be great, and don't speak on the offense. But like when he's gone, that team is really bad. So, but everyone, we're already like ready for the Trey Lance. It's just funny how like after that Super Bowl loss, Jimmy Garoppolo's kind of had a sour taste in people's mouths.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback. I mean, maybe the Eagles trade for him. Maybe they do
somebody.
That. Because I think Jimmy Garoppolo can go on a lot of teams and do good things. I honestly was thinking maybe the Colts should consider going after Jimmy Garoppolo. Because I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a good enough quarterback that if you have a good defense and a good offense, he can win you games. I mean, he's not like one of the best quarterbacks in the league by any means, but he's one of those guys you plug into a good team and he's going to do good things. It was just last year he was hurt. He dealt with injuries, and
he is probably a fingertip away from being a Super Bowl champion. That throw to Emmanuel Sanders, if it's just a little less off of the end of that throw, and we're not talking about we're still talking about Patrick Mahomes, but we're not talking about we'll be talking about him trying to get to a Super Bowl, and this one, and we'll be talking about how what a beautiful throw that that Garoppolo did. Like I want to see that. I want to see a peek into that multiverse, that universe where he completes that throw, because it's a completely different conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, look, I still think the 49ers could compete for a Super Bowl this year too. It's just if they would have just a smidge less of power from Jimmy on that throw, they win that Super Bowl. And everybody would be like, look, last year 49ers had injuries, Jimmy was hurt, so of course we didn't do great, but hey, we're coming in this year, Jimmy's going to come in, we're going to go back to a Super Bowl. That's what people would be saying.
Trey Lance would probably be a Chicago Bear right now.
Probably would be a Bear or a Patriot.
Yep.
I could definitely see that, or I don't know, maybe he falls to another team, But
Possible.
yeah, maybe he would have been a Houston Texan.
Man, if only.
Yeah,
If only.
Definitely. But now we're going to move on to the next game. This is, I think, potential game of the week. It's the Rams traveling to Indy to take on the Colts. Did not go the way we wanted this past week. And we lost for the opposite reason why I thought we would potentially lose. And that was offensive line and our safeties. Definitely played a factor too. I'll start this one off. So I'll get into what I was saying about the Rams. When we were kind of talking about the Rams and Bears, I said there were some things I saw from that game that actually made me pretty confident in this game. And that is Montgomery running for 95 yards in that game. I think the Seattle defense was really good against the run. Like, they're a really good run defense. So Taylor getting 59 yards, against that good of a run defense, I don't consider that too big of a loss. We haven't won a season opener in years. So, definitely more difficult. I think in this game, they're going to be running the ball a lot, and Jonathan Taylor is going to have a monster game. I think he runs for well over 100 yards in this game because the Rams' defense isn't the greatest against the run. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to run the ball. I think that Carson, assuming Eric Fisher is back, because Eric Fisher might be back this Sunday. There's a chance that he plays. He's day-to-day, but, if I had to guess, I think he's going to play. The offensive line played really bad in that game. Braden Smith, one of the best right tackles in the NFL, just did not look great at all. I think he has a much better game. I think Ryan Kelly's going to have a much better game. Quinn Nelson played well. I think he's going to play better than he did last week. Mark Walensky, I think, is going to play pretty well too. I think Carson's going to play good because Carson in that game looked really good. I thought he looked really good in that game for not having an offensive line to protect him. He put up really good numbers, looked really good, didn't turn the ball over, did good things. I think the coaching is going to be better in this game for Indy. And I think the Colts defense is going to play much better because, Darius Leonard is probably getting to everybody's face and saying, listen, we did not do the job last week. We're going to change that. Matt Stafford is not a mobile quarterback like Russell Wilson is. I think the Seahawks have better receivers than the Rams. I think the safeties are going to play better. I think Willis and Blackman will step up too. I think in a high-scoring game, Colts win this game. I'm thinking they win by 3. Roderico Blankenship kicks the game winner, sends the Colts home with a dub, and sends the Rams back to LA with a loss. I'm going to go to you now. How do you see this going?
This is going to be, like you said, probably game of the week. Two really good defenses, but the thing was I wasn't too impressed with either defense. Like you said, David Montgomery was running all over that Rams defense last week. And same for Chris Carson. I was not expecting that good of a game from Chris Carson. But you have to ask the question, is it that player just had a great game, or did that defense just kind of disappear? And I kind of lean and I'm going to completely go the opposite way, but with my thoughts right now is that was bad defense by the Rams last week. That was bad defense, and Chris Carson just had a great game. So I'm not writing off the Colts defense. This is what we've known them for. Trust me, as someone who has to watch my Texans get assaulted by these guys every year, twice. I know that this team the defense is that good. It's going to come down to quarterback play for me, and I think that even though the defense is going to isn't going to let Henderson have a great day. Sean McVay is so good at getting Matt Stafford on those bootlegs. He's a great runner of the bootleg, and a lot of times, a lot of those throws that Matt Stafford was throwing this past week were just wide open throws. The receiver was running wide open, and he put it right on the money. So I'm gonna go the Rams on this one. I think both defenses are gonna kind of stalemate, they're going to be good, but it's going to come down to the quarterback play. And if I got to pick one from my life, I'm going to put money on Stafford each time.
Thanks for joining us, Alec. No, to be fair, I could see this game going either way. I think, just like I said, Colts, the reasons why they lost were reasons that you don't expect them to ever lose. Those are usually their big strengths. And like I said, if Carson had the offensive line play better in that Seahawks game, I think they beat the Seahawks. Because in that second half, the Colts defense, they went from allowing 21 points in the first half to allowing 7 points.
Yeah.
And they were doing really good, and they were giving the offense a lot of opportunities. It was just offensive line couldn't protect Carson to save their life. There was just miscues from Ryan Kelly, which never happened. And, Braden Smith also did not play good. And if Eric Fisher can come back, that offensive line performance is going to be a lot better. But latest I see him come back is next week. But I honestly wouldn't be shocked either way, because the Rams, they have one of the best teams in the league for sure. Nomadic Brian says that the Colts are going to shock the Rams 27-26. Alf Fox says Colts, if our defense comes out strong, we need to give Carson more time and take more shots down the field and feed Jonathan Taylor the ball. Colts 24, Rams 21. I could see that too. I'm going hot rod game-winning field goal in that game. I think you give, especially that you also got to realize with Carson, he had a couple days of training camp. He had a week and a half of practice, and he still threw for over 200 yards, played quite well, had I think 102 or 104 quarterback rating in that game. Like he was not the problem in that game at all.
No.
You give him more time, that fourth down, they would have converted, where Braden Smith got absolutely just manhandled. They would have converted that fourth down for sure. And there were just little mistakes. They just need to tune up. But I saw a lot of what I liked, a lot of what I didn't like. And then with the Rams, and look, I got to give credit to JDW real quick. He said the Bears are going to run all over the Rams because the Rams' run defense isn't the greatest. And he was right. And I kind of agree with him. Last year, they weren't all that great. And it seems like that's continuing this year. So you got Jonathan Taylor, you got Nyheim Hines. Maybe they bring Marlon Mack, because they didn't play Marlon Mack at all in the first game, which was really surprising to me. I thought they would have played him for a drive at the most, but they didn't play him. So I think they're going to run all over the Rams, and they're going to, try to win the game, with time of possession. So that's kind of how we see that going. So we're split on that game.
Yep.
Which is fine. It's fine. You can be wrong sometimes, Alec, but it's all right. But we got another great game coming.
More than sometimes, if you ask my girlfriend.
Hey, there you go. But we got another great game we got to talk about, though. It's the Raiders going to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Like we were talking about earlier, the Raiders had a great victory on Monday night. One of the better season opening Monday night games, like in a very long time. Not the best Monday night game of all time. That might go to the Rams and Chiefs, where it was like 52 to 54 or whatever.
That was
something
a great
insane
game.
like that. That was definitely the probably the best that I've seen in quite a while. That or way to flex. They have a girlfriend, Alec. Hey, yeah. Good job.
Hey.
I'm glad somebody found happiness. I'm glad somebody is not alone. But
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not alone though. I got Jalen Hurts with me. See?
That's true.
I got Jalen Hurts.
That's Jacob's guy.
Yep, I got Jacob's guy here. But to get back to the Steelers-Raiders game, a fantastic game. Great performance by the Raiders to come back and win this game. They're going to Pittsburgh, who has a really good team. Offensively, defensively, looks like they're doing really good. I'll go to you first. Who do you have in this game?
I think the Steelers, like you said, like we've said a few times, the Steelers are a good team. They're not a bad team. They're great. I think they're going to be a great team. And this Raiders, even though the defense is on the good side, I'm not the biggest believer in Derek Carr. I think TJ is going to eat them up eat them up all night or all day this game. He will not be able to find Darren Waller because he will not have enough time. Because if I noticed a lot of their throws are kind of deep, medium routes right across in the middle, and I don't think he'll have enough time to let that play develop. And if Henry Ruggs can't step up, then it's going to be a hard day for the Raiders. We're all cheering because they had a great Monday Night Football game, but I think we go back to regular old Raiders programming this week, and the Steelers with a big one.
I'm really rooting for the Raiders. I'm really rooting for them. I like John Gruden as a coach. I kind of like how he goes about it. This is definitely a huge year for him. And I also like Derek Carr. I really like Derek Carr. Unfortunately had that injury a few years back against the Colts that hurt his chances of winning MVP. And Darren Waller, I love the guy's story. I really do. He has a great story.
Him and Crosby,
yeah. They all have great stories. And, just Josh Jacobs coming back from this injury. I hope he can bounce back and do good things too. But I got to go with the Steelers in this game. I think the Steelers are just too good for the Raiders. I think the Raiders could potentially go on a run towards the end of the year. But I think the Steelers win this game. I think they win because offensively and defensively, they're just better, plain and simple. I think Ben Roethlisberger should be able to do his thing against this Raiders defense. They have the offensive line to protect them. They got the receivers that will get open. I mean, Juju is still a really good receiver, guys. He's still really good. And Chase Claypool is also another really good receiver. So
Deontay Johnson.
And, Johnson too. All of them are really good. Najee Harris, I think he's going to slowly become a really good running back in this league. I'm going to go with the Steelers in this game. I actually think it's going to be a close game, but the Steelers pull out at the end. I think the Raiders are going to surprise people this year, but I'm going Steelers in this game. I think Big Ben will do enough to carry them over the finish line. Nomadic Brian says Steelers still solid enough will shut down the Raiders. And then Al Foxy says Raiders. He's taking the Raiders this game because of Derek Carr and Waller are going to destroy that Steelers defense. Big Ben is going to throw 2 picks. I don't. Maybe.
It's possible. He can do that every game.
Yeah, true. He could do that every game. At this point, but I don't know. I think they just, talented enough. I think they get the win. It's gonna be a good game though.
So you're a betting man. Under Najee getting over under Najee Harris getting 50 yards. Taking the over, the under.
I'm going over. I think he'll get around 60 in this game. It's kind of what I'm thinking. I'll go around. I think he'll get around 60.
I might take the under. I think this isn't at least not the front four. Is the defense that I want to see him go against. But I mean, he played better He played really good defenses in college, so he could possibly. But if I was putting money, I'd probably take the under.
And another reason why I'm taking the over is because in that game, is it Tyrell Williams or whatever?
Yeah.
For the Ravens had like 100-something yards in that game, and he's like the number 3 running back for the Ravens, technically number 3 or 4 actually. So I think Najee Harris is definitely better than him. So I think the Steelers have a good enough offensive line still that they will be able to do the philosophy that they always rely on, and that is run the ball and be efficient with it. So I'm going over, but I don't think he's going to have like 100 yards in this game, mostly because the Steelers do have more of a passing offense than the Ravens do. But I do think Najee Harris is going to get about 60 around that area. So I might actually do that bet later. I might do that if I'm doing the parlays with the players. I'll go with him, Carson Wentz going over on his passing yard prediction. I think he's going to have a big game. And maybe Joe Burrow. Maybe I'll put money on him. And speaking of him, we got the Bengals. They're traveling to the Windy City of Chicago to take on the Bears. I'm going to go first on this one. I got in this game, I'm going to go with the Bengals. I like the Bengals in this game. I don't think the Bears, especially in the secondary, have the defense to take down the Bengals. Jamar Chase played pretty well. He was dropping balls like crazy in the preseason. Doesn't seem like that's happening as much, at least by what I've seen. T. Higgins playing really good football. I'm, you know, I think Boyd's playing, right, or is he hurt?
I don't know. Actually.
Okay, I didn't see if he was hurt or not, but regardless, they still got two really good receivers that can do some good things. The Bears secondary lacks anything. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I think Montgomery is gonna have a really big game as well. I'm going Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow's gonna get the job done. I think Joe Burrow is. I said this last year, and I could be wrong, but I think within the next 5 years, Joe Burrow will be a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Okay.
I think within the next 5 years.
Boyd is healthy. He had 4 targets, 3 receptions, and 32 yards, so not too bad.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't really see much from him, but I know Boyd is, I know he's really good. Like, he's super talented.
Yeah.
But I just didn't see his name, so I thought, he might be hurt. But, yeah, I got to go with the Bengals. I think they go in. Burrow's going to do what he does. I think they played well against a really good Minnesota defense. I think Minnesota's defense is better than Chicago's defense. So, Bengals over the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bengals too. They played possibly a top 10 defense in Minnesota and put up huge numbers with Jamar Chase. I said in the preseason that Jamar Chase was just having to get his body back to playing football because he hadn't been hit in over a year. And I think that he's over that now. The coach over there, I think, is Zach Taylor. He was smart enough to let Jamar Chase play during the preseason and get those drops out of the way before it counts. And even though everyone's saying Dak is going to be comeback player of the year, I actually have Joe Burrow as my comeback player of the year. I think he's going to have that kind of season where people are going to be talking about this team. Cincinnati has very quietly built a formidable trio at wide receiver with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Boyd. So if Joe Mixon plays like this every week, they're going to be a good team. Behind that bad of an offensive line, which is crazy. Everyone thought that Joe Burrow was going to get murdered after they went Jamar Chase with their first-round draft pick. But so far it's worked out. This Bears team, like I said earlier, the secondary is questionable. And given the right quarterback and wide receivers, they can run roughshod over these guys. So I'm gonna go Bengals in a close game, but yeah.
Now, I didn't realize with the Bengals or with Jamar Chase, he had over 100 yards receiving. He had 101, but still, I didn't realize he had that good of a game.
He was sitting on my bench somewhere.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have took him, but Jamar Chase looks good. Joe Mixon, I always thought he was a good running back. I always liked him.
Yeah, he's not consistent. That's the reason why he's kind of the fantasy football joke, where people are just like, do you take Joe Mixon? Like, if he's available in 4th round, take Joe Mixon, but don't reach like first 2 rounds for him because you never know. But if he can put up consistently these numbers, he's gonna be a number 1 guy here, and he'll be a top 3 pick next year in fantasy football, I believe. He has that. I think he has that talent.
Definitely does. And they did take an offensive lineman with their 2nd pick. So they try to do both, get the receiver and add to the offensive line. And Penei Sewell didn't look that great with what I saw. So didn't look that great for the Lions. So maybe they were smart in not taking Penei Sewell at the end of the day and just taking a completely different offensive lineman. Maybe that ended up being the case. But now, Nomadic Brian, he says that the Bengals and Joe beat the Bears. And Al Foxy says Bengals are going to kick butt with the pass game over the Bears defense. I do agree with that. I think their pass defense in Chicago is going to really hurt them this year, which is unfortunate. Because I think they have the offense that they could do some good things. It's just that defense. Defensive secondary anyway. Not great. Now we're going to move on to the Houston Texans. They travel to Cleveland to take on the Browns. I'm gonna go to you first. Who are you taking in this game?
I'm torn, man. I'm torn because this Browns team looks so good. That was if we didn't get the Monday Night Football game, this would have the Browns and Chiefs would have been my game of the week. So, man, I want my Texans to look good, but Tyrod Taylor looked and Tyrod Taylor looked great. Like he looked fantastic, but it was the Jaguars defense. And even though I don't like holding it against teams when they beat a bad team, because you can't really control who's put in front of you. All you can do is control how you handle that team. And we did exactly what we were supposed to do, the Jaguars. But this Browns team, barring any mistakes, and I think the mistakes that Baker Mayfield made in the game against the Chiefs, those were not necessarily his mistakes because he wasn't playing good. It was because I think the crowd. That team looked like they hadn't been in front of a raucous full stadium at all, which in that kind of moment is true for Baker Mayfield. He hasn't been in that situation with people. So I think that's what got in his head. I want to say the Texans so bad. I'll probably still pick the Texans because they're my team. But the Browns are gonna look probably really good. But maybe this Lovie Smith defense is legit. Maybe it wasn't just because it was a bad Jaguars team. Maybe we'll get 3 more picks. Who knows?
I will say, Joe or not Joe. That's a different guy. On the Bengals, Trevor Lawrence. He did have a good game too in that game. He threw some picks, of course, but he had 300 something yards in that game. So
yeah,
I mean,
2 touchdowns, I think.
So he got his yards and whatnot, but still. And look, I like Tyrod Taylor. I feel like I am the only one that said Tyrod Taylor actually could help this Texans team. If they can put guys around him, Tyrod Taylor can help this Texans team do some good things. If you guys had a better defense and, maybe another piece or two on the offense, I probably would have said you guys would finish second in the AFC South. I think Tyrod's a good quarterback. I mean, he took the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in 17, 18 years for Buffalo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then he gets cut. Then he goes to Cleveland on a horrible Cleveland team. Doesn't do too bad. Gets replaced by Baker. Then he goes to the Chargers, plays pretty well, but ends up getting stabbed by the doctor in the ribs or the lungs. And, Justin Herbert comes in and does his thing. So he just had no luck at all. And honestly, I like him. I think he's good. He
knew that he was going to be the guy. Like, I know everyone makes a big deal about Deshaun Watson's not playing, but everyone in Houston and everyone who's been following the Houston situation has known Deshaun's not playing at all this year. So can we stop with the breaking news Deshaun Watson's not playing? We got to get that out of our heads. And so Tyrod Taylor came in here knowing that this is going to be a starting job. And, I mean, he showed out, dude. Him and Brandon Cooks connected really well in that game. I watched every single snap of that game, and him and Brandon Cooks seemed to have something going. From what I heard, Nico Collins, our third-round receiver that we got, that David Culley, who, oh, my God, we finally have good coaching here in Houston.
Yeah.
So that was another thing. But David Culley said that Nico Collins should be in there more because they like him defending the run. Blocking on the runs. Mm-hmm. So he goes in there and he works. And Mark Ingram looked like Mark Ingram from New Orleans. So, I mean, I hope, man. I really do hope so. I think this Browns defense is, besides the front seven, like this secondary could be, if you stay away from Denzel Ward, the secondary could be taken advantage of, but it's going to be tough. And Jarvis Landry is so damn good.
Definitely. He really is. I
might agree with Al Foxy. Nick Chubb might get 200 yards.
He might.
So
he definitely might. I gotta go Browns though. I like Tyrod Taylor. I think Tyrod's gonna play well for you guys. If you guys can add to that team and get him a little more help, because I do like Cooks too. I think Cooks could be a good receiver in this league. Help with the offensive line a little bit more. Maybe add a couple pieces on defense. You guys got the run, group, I think, to do well. If you add another receiver, I think the Texans could really bounce back and maybe not win the division, but at least finish second, right?
5 games. If this is the Tennessee team we're going to see every week, then yeah. But
no, well, the Indy team is going to bounce back and play better, so you got to worry about Indy.
Well, I mean, we're not going to be first. I already know that. I was already giving
second.
I was already giving it to the Colts, but if the Titans team are as bad as they look,
then yeah,
I'll take second.
Yeah, you guys might finish second. If the Titans play like that. Derrick Henry had 59 yards. Is Derrick Henry hitting the decline, or is just the Cardinals that good?
We'll find out this week.
Yeah, we'll find out. They're playing against a really good run team. We'll talk about later. Run defensive team. But I'm going Browns in this game. I just think defensively, I think they're going to be able to contain you guys enough to not allow Tyrod to do what he was doing last week. I think Myles Garrett is going to say hello to him a few times in this game because it's Myles Garrett. And then Cleveland's offense, I mean, if Landry can continue to do what Landry was doing and has done, and Baker can consistently play well, yeah, they're going to be a really good team. And then obviously Nick Chubb, probably going to run for 200 yards like Al Foxy said. So I'm going Browns in this game. I think it's not going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. But I think at the end, the Browns will pull away with the W. Nomadic Brian says Tyrod Taylor runs for 700 yards in circles, running from the Browns. Browns with W. And then Al Foxy says Browns with Nick Chubb running for at least 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I understand, but man, with the Tyrod Taylor, man, he looks so good, and I think people are underestimating this defense. If you didn't watch the whole thing, then you might just think of what you saw last year. But I think this is the best coached Texans team that we've seen.
Oh yeah,
since Gary Kubiak. So there's so much better play calling from both David Culley and Lovie Smith. So I don't think, like you said, I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to maybe come down to who on the defensive side. I like our corners, but I really don't like our front seven, whereas I love the Browns' front seven, and I don't necessarily love their corners besides Denzel Ward.
Right. Look, they have that Jeremiah Osua-Kolomora.
Yeah, JOK.
Yeah, JOK from Notre Dame. Look, he's making a lot of teams, and he will continue to make a lot of teams throughout the year. Regret not taking him.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish he would have been available in the 3rd round. I wish he would have been available in the 3rd round, right around the time where the Colts could have traded into the 3rd round to take him, because the guy's going to be like a monster. He was a monster at Notre Dame. That's going to continue. And then somebody's going to get Kyle Hamilton next year. Unfortunately, it won't be us. Kyle Hamilton's going to be a beast. He's just going to be a monster. So
I love him next to Justin Reed. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I would not like that. But now we'll go back to the comments. Colts Nation 365 podcast says, no Horseman podcast, dropping in, say what's up. How you doing, man? Glad to see you guys stop by. Thank you for tuning in to the stream. We got a few more games to talk about today, and then we're going to call it a show, unless some other news breaks at the last second. Then we'll
Deshaun Watson traded for
Deshaun Watson gets
first-round picks.
for 7 first-round picks, and for Jacoby Brissett.
I'll take him.
Yeah, hey, Jacoby's a good quarterback.
I like Jacoby.
I like him too. I wish we could have kept him, but especially on that 4th down we tried to go for it on.
That year,
where he snuck it in.
Yeah, that year that the Pats were without Brady for the first 4 games, and we played them the week 3, and Garoppolo went down.
Yeah.
Dude, Brissett ran all over us.
Oh yeah,
he had a hell of a game.
Yeah, he's somebody that you need to keep healthy, and he's not a quarterback that will win you a Super Bowl.
He might get you to the playoffs though.
He might. I mean, he was doing well before that injury. They went 5-2. He had 14 touchdowns, a couple of picks, but still looked pretty good. Had that injury and then just completely turned it around. But unfortunately that happened, and unfortunately he's no longer with us, and he's on Miami. Hopefully Miami does use him quite a bit, because I do like him. I saw they were using him a little bit, I believe. Like, he's really good on those 4th down and 1 type of situations where you can just sneak it with him, he'll get you the first down. That's what he was doing all last year. But I do want to talk about another game real quick. It's the Saints and the Panthers, 2-1-0 teams. It's Jameis Winston versus Sam Darnold. This is going to be a lot of fun. The Saints did lose Lattimore, which is going to be really, really bad for them because Lattimore is one of the better corners in the NFL. I'm going to go to you first on this one. Who do you see winning this game and why?
This one's... I don't trust the Panthers defense, but are we going to get... Which Jameis are we going to get? Are we going to get 300 yards, no interceptions Jameis from last week? Or are we going to get, the Jameis that we got the last year in Tampa? I don't know. I'm going to lean more towards we see a little bit more of last week's Jameis. So I'm going to go with the Saints. And that dude Callaway, I really like that dude Callaway, the receiver. And they were able to, I know it might have been just a bad game from Aaron Rodgers, but they also shut down Aaron Jones, that defense. So I'm gonna say the Saints, probably maybe in a close one, but I could see this one possibly being a blowout as well. So
I don't know. I'm gonna go Saints. I think the Saints, even losing Lattimore, is going to win this game. I think losing Lattimore will cost him at some point until he comes back.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they can take advantage of Lattimore being out on the Panthers side of things, and they get Robbie Anderson involved and some of the other guys that they got there, Panthers could win this game too. Plus, they got C-Mac. If you can, you get C-Mac involved to get him to do his thing, you could beat the Saints too. I think Jameis Winston's going to consistently play well. I think the thing about Sean Payton, what makes him as good of a coach as he is he can take any quarterback and he can find their strength and their weakness and only, have that offense formed around that player based on their strength. We saw it with Teddy Bridgewater. They went undefeated. And Teddy's a good quarterback. He definitely is. My dogs are freaking out because they agree with me. Teddy's a good quarterback, went 5-0 with him. They did well with Taysom Hill as their quarterback. Clearly, you put him on another team to be your franchise guy, Taysom Hill's not going to do anything for you. He just isn't going to. But Jameis Winston is that type of quarterback that if he had no issues as far as with his sight, and maybe that was his issue where he wasn't seeing things as well, finally got the latex, maybe that improved him. I think Jameis could be really dangerous. I think they're going to use Jameis to his strengths. And honestly, let's say Jameis doesn't play all that well for the next few games and they feel like they need to go with a different quarterback. Jesus Christ, who's home? If they want to go with another quarterback, Ian Book's there. Ian Book looks good too. I watched a lot of what he did in the preseason. Ian Book looks like a good quarterback. They like what they have from him. So, they have the guys. But I got to go Saints in this game. I think Jameis is going to play really well. I think the Panthers are going to score a lot in this game, but I think at the end of the day, they're not going to stop the Saints offense. I'm going to go to some of the comments real quick. Nomadic Brian says Saints, Panthers, toss-ups. If he had to, he's going Saints. Al Foxy says Saints, but super close game. I do agree with that. And then Jacob West says Jameis in his last year at Tampa did throw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, which is true.
You missed the other part of that stat line, which is also 30 interceptions and lost a lot of games for that team.
Yes.
A lot of those interceptions didn't come in garbage time. They came in the biggest moments of those games. So that's what I mean by that with Jameis. But, I mean, is Sean Payton better than Bruce Arians? Most likely.
Yeah, definitely. I think Bruce Arians is a really good coach for sure. But, I mean, if you had to tell me or ask me who was the better coach, I'm going Sean Payton for sure.
Yeah.
It's just Sean Payton can take any quarterback and bring the best out of them, and I think that's what he's going to do with Jameis this year.
Yeah.
I think Jameis is going to have a big year. He's my comeback player of the year right now because of how bad he was, and then last year he really didn't play. I think he's going to come in and he's going. He might throw.
If they had a most improved, I would give it to him probably. If they had like a most improved, like the NBA has.
I might go 50 touchdowns for Jameis.
Wow,
they don't have Michael Thomas back yet, and he's doing good things. You bring Michael Thomas into the mix, he might throw for 50. I think he's going to hit 5,000 yards this year, though.
I could see him hitting. Yeah, I could see him hitting 5,000 because Kamara is so good catching out of the backfield.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see him going 5,000. I don't know about 50 touchdowns, but I could see 5,000 yards.
I think he can. If he can contain those interceptions and only throw 10, 11 interceptions even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he can throw 50 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He has the talent. Like, he has the talent to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It's just the interceptions really affected him. So
maybe it was the eye thing. Maybe it was the eye thing because I don't think he threw an interception this past week, did he?
I don't think so. I can look, but I don't think he did. But yeah, he no, that's the Jaguars Saints preseason game. Silly me. So the Saints here's what he had. He didn't have a whole lot of yards, surprisingly. I thought he had more.
He had like 300 or 280 something.
So he had 148 passing yards.
Oh wow, I thought he had like 200.
No, he had 148 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
A lot of these were coming off of short fields because of Aaron Rodgers was doing is trying to film his own Last Dance podcast documentary, and destroy this Packers team from the inside. So
that's the whole conspiracy that Aaron Rodgers is trying to destroy the Packers. Him and Devontae Adams
make Jordan Love look bad.
To try to go, look, we're gonna make this team look so bad and we're gonna play terrible, but we're gonna leave. We're gonna go to another team and we're gonna win. The next 3 Super Bowls. I don't think that is the case at all. I don't think he actually is, doing that. I think, and I didn't watch his, Pat McAfee show thing he's going to be doing every Tuesday. I didn't watch that yet. I'm going to watch that at work. But, he really didn't have a whole lot of time in the offseason to work with the guys.
That's what I'm hoping it is because I did draft him in our fantasy league.
You did.
So I do need something, and the only backup I have is Justin Herbert, and he didn't look great in his game. Yeah. So I'm hoping that it all comes down to this game, that this next game they have. If he puts up another 2 points, I'm be like, oh yeah, the fix is in.
Yeah, true. I mean, it just. I don't know. I think he's going to play better this week, but Alpha Foxy says as far as Aaron Rodgers doing that, he says it's working great. If he's actually trying to ruin the season, which it's true.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. If the Packers get killed by the Lions, then yes, I will 1,000% believe that Aaron Rodgers is sabotaging this Packers team because they cannot get beat by the Lions.
He's smarter than that. He wouldn't let that happen. He's not going to get that obvious.
I don't think he would. But if they get smoked by the Lions, 38-0, I might buy into it a little more. I don't think it is, but I guess you never know. I saw that. I thought it was funny that he's purposely trying to ruin the Packers.
First thought that came to my head when I saw his stat lines for that game.
Didn't he throw 2 interceptions in his first 3 passing attempts?
Yes.
That's not Aaron Rodgers.
And one of them was really bad. One was okay. It was I think it was went through the hands of somebody. But that second one was there was nobody around. It seemed like.
Right now, Al Foxy does come up with a good point. He's going to be playing really bad for the Packers, so he can get traded. He's going to the Colts, and then him and Devontae Adams will be in Indy, and they're going to play incredible. That's the plan because. Aaron Rodgers wants to be in studio for his Rodgers Tuesdays on Pat McAfee.
All right. I've never told anybody this, but I'm actually from the future, and I already know how this is going to turn out. Yeah. The Broncos are going to be above 500 on their way to a playoff berth. The Packers are going to be on their way to a number 1 overall pick, and then we're going to see the trade at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
something crazy like that would happen.
It's going to happen. He's going to go to the Broncos or something. I mean, if he goes to the Broncos are winning that division.
He wants to play against Patty Mahomes, I'm telling you.
That's all he wants to do.
Twice
we're going to get right. He just wants to play against Patrick Mahomes. He wants to win that division, and he wants to win an AFC championship as well, so he can have both.
Yes.
We're going to bounce over to our next game now. It's the Minnesota Vikings going to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. I'm going to go first on this one. I think Kirk Cousins is actually playing better than I thought he would play. You don't expect Kirk Cousins to play all that great, but he's actually playing pretty well. He had a good game against the Bengals. Maybe the Bengals just don't have that great of a defense, and that's why he played great. I don't know, but then again, Dalvin Cook had 60 yards rushing in that game, so you know, who knows? But the Vikings, they're playing against the Cardinals. Cardinals obviously had such an incredible performance this past week. DeAndre Hopkins doing his thing. Kyler Murray had 4 or 5 touchdown passes in that game. Chandler Jones looks like a beast. For me, I gotta go the Cardinals in this game. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think Kirk Cousins is going to play better than what some would expect them to play in this game. And I think Dalvin Cook is going to play well in this game too. Now, this will be this and then the Titans game we'll talk about in a little bit. It's going to be a really good way to determine if the Cardinals have a really good running defense or if Derrick Henry just had a bad day. Because Derrick Henry was held to 59 yards in that game, I believe. On 19 carries. Something crazy like that. So if Dalvin Cook can't get more than 50 yards, then the Cardinals just have that good of a run defense. But I'm going Cardinals in this game. I just think that offense is too high-powered. I think they're more high-powered than the Bengals' offense is. I think their defense is pretty good as well. I think they're going to be able to do well against the Vikings. I'm going Cardinals. I'm thinking like a 1 to 2 touchdown type of victory for the Cardinals. How do you see this one going?
I think that I'm kind of on the side of Nomadic Brian in the comments. So they come down from the wave. I'm gonna be riding with the Cardinals. I think I'm not ready to believe that Derrick Henry is on the decline yet. So I'm gonna say that was just good Cardinals defense and a hell of a way to prove that you are a legit defense by playing 2 of the top 5 running backs in your first 2 weeks with Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry. I do like this Vikings team. I think Kirk Cousins is not a bad quarterback. I think he gets a lot of heat for kind of being a check down guy when he was over in Washington. But he's shown that he can take the top off of defenses with him and Jefferson and Thielen, who a lot of people were also saying this was the decline of him, and he had a great game against the Bengals. But I'm going to go Cardinals. I think Kyler Murray continues that MVP run-on that he was on last year before he hurt that shoulder. So I'm going to go Cardinals in this one.
Okay. So we both have the Cardinals. Nomadic Brian says Cardinals until they come down from riding that wave. I think the Cardinals I think they're going to be this good for a while. I think until Christmas Day, they're going to play this good. And then they play the Colts on Christmas Day at night. They could lose to the Colts, and then they get back on that wave, and they finish out the season strong.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have Kyler as my favorite for MVP right now. He wasn't at first. I think I had that with Patrick Mahomes. But Kyler might be my favorite right now.
He's definitely up there.
They got they got that receiver who they drafted, the Cardinals drafted, because in no way would a team ever draft DeAndre Hopkins and trade DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know who would do that. Terrible coaching / management that would allow that to happen. It's insane. But I think Kyler's definitely somebody that could be an MVP. I think Stafford is somebody that could potentially make a run for it because he does have the team now, and he looks like what we thought he would look like. So he's there. Obviously, Russell Wilson is he's going to be thought of as like an MVP candidate for, I would say, 5 weeks. And then after week 5, we're going to find out, can he continue to do what he's doing and make a push for that MVP. Still has not gotten a single MVP vote in his career, which is absolutely insane, especially since he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You would think he would eventually get one, but maybe he does this year. And then AlFoxy94 says, Vikings, I love them as a team. The defense is great. The offense is good. Cousins has to play great, and if they can get it, weigh the win. 28 Vikings, 21 Cardinals. Yeah, Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is definitely playing better than what we come to expect him to play. I think he's going to have a good game again, and I think he's going to have a good year. I don't know if he's going to be great in this game because the Cardinals do have the defense. I think that could, make him not play great. But yeah, I think the Cardinals, or Kirk Cousins. I think he has the potential to play great in this game. I mean, he has the two receivers. He has Thielen and Jefferson, so he definitely can play great in this game.
And that dude Osborne stepped up this past week. KJ Osborne.
Yes, definitely.
So that's another one. If you need to fill up a spot and draft somebody, pick up KJ Osborne, because I guarantee you he's not been taken in anybody's leagues.
Right. True. So now we do have to go in about 10, 15 minutes because I do have to get ready for work. So we're going to fly through these last 5 games. We've got the Falcons and the Buccaneers. I'll let you go first on this one. How do you see this going?
Buccaneers. A continuation of what we saw against Dallas. And Dallas is a better defense than Atlanta is. And Tom Brady put on a show against them. So, and it's not going to be a close game. It's not going to be a last-minute comeback for Matt Ryan like it was for Dak Prescott. Yeah, I'm going Buccaneers. Really, the big question is who's going to be the leading receiver. It could be any of them.
True. Yeah, that is true. I'm going to go Buccaneers as well. Ronald Jones has to play well today, or Sunday. I think he has to play well because didn't look the greatest in that first game, and that was against a Cowboys team that doesn't have a good defense. Fournette looked pretty decent, but they got to run the ball better, I think, if they're going to do anything. But Tom Brady is Tom Brady still. He hasn't looked like he's slowed down. They got the receivers to do things. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk looked really good in this game too. And Antonio Brown, man, he came back just in full force. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. I think the Falcons have a good offense. I just don't think that they're going to be able to beat the Buccaneers. And I love the little troll that Brady had on them where he had a video uploaded where he's like, hey, guys, this is going to be a great game. We got a fun game coming up against the Falcons. Should be a ton of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I'll pull it up real quick so you can see if I can get the video.
Talk about the Super Bowl.
So, yeah, in the background, if you notice, and I can't zoom in, so unfortunately I can't zoom in, but if you look really close behind him, like behind his shoulder, you can see 3-28 just in the background. He has it hanging there. So he was just completely messing with him. I thought that was just the best.
I was working in Houston in NRG Stadium for that Super Bowl. And when I tell you I've never seen so many depressed fans in one place before,
yeah.
I couldn't believe that happened. Because it was like a huge, right at halftime, 28-3, a huge influx of Falcons fans coming in, buying Devontae Freeman jerseys, buying Matt Ryan jerseys. All of our Falcons jerseys were sold out. All the Pats jerseys were still there, and then before you know it, our Pats jerseys were gone because they came back and won that game. First ever overtime Super Bowl game as well.
Yeah, true. And of course, it's Tom Brady that gets it done.
Yep.
Unfortunately. But now we're going to move on to the next game. We have the Tennessee Titans traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. I'm going with the Seahawks in this game. This is really going to be the test for Seattle when it comes to run defense. Is the run defense for Seattle as good as what it was? Or was it just, hey, we had a good day, Jonathan Taylor just had a bad day, and we get run over by Derrick Henry? Or are we getting ready to see the end of Derrick Henry? Because look, you can only do what he's been able to do for so long. So eventually you're going to hit that wall and you're going to start just, going down. So he's going to hit the slump eventually. Maybe it's this week or maybe it's this year, I should say. I'm going with the Seahawks in this game. I'm thinking a big score. I'm thinking they're going to win 85-0. because Maddie would love that. Realistically, no. Though I think it's gonna be 7-point win, 7 to 14 point win for Seattle. How do you see this one going? And then I'll go to the comments because I forgot to for the last game.
So this one's tough because the thing about the Titans is their defense. I mean, their offense is so dependent on Derrick Henry, so everyone knows what you're going to do. There's no balance in that offense. They spent too much to get Julio Jones, I think. They lost Corey Davis. They lost Jonnu Smith, and they lost a lot of their defensive. A lot of people on the defensive end that they couldn't keep. So. I think this Titans team, even though Derrick Henry's going to have I think he's going to have a good game, probably upwards of like 75 yards, maybe a touchdown. But the Seahawks, their biggest issue I think last year was their defense, and it seemed like they kind of fixed those holes because that Colts team is a dynamic offense when they're clicking on all cylinders, and they were able to hold them to a decent amount of points. I'm going to say Seahawks with Russell Wilson possibly for a comeback game-winning drive to win the game. So, yeah, okay. Seahawks.
All righty. So now we're going to go to some of the comments. I'll bring up the comments for the previous one as well. Al Foxy says, Matt Ryan gets his payback for the Super Bowl. And then Nomadic Brian says, Bucks over the Falcons. Al Foxy says Seahawks get the win in this one. And then Nomadic Brian says Seahawks spank Titans. Is this the end for Derrick Henry? And it very well could be. But, again, it could have just been a bad day. We'll find out as the season progresses. But you can't do what he's been doing forever. And, he's been taking a lot of hits. So maybe the hits got to him this year. But maybe he just had a bad day. Who knows? But now we're going to go on to the last 4 o'clock game. And that is the Dallas Cowboys heading to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. I'll let you go first on this one. Who do you have in this one?
I'm gonna say this is gonna be an exciting game. The Dallas defense is just bad enough to keep games exciting, but Dak looked great, man. Like my biggest takeaway from that game was not anything about the Buccaneers. It was Dak Prescott looks not only like he's feeling good on that leg, but he's not timid. He's not afraid. He's not like RG3 when he came back from his leg injury, where RG3 was very timid and couldn't be himself anymore. Dak Prescott was hanging in the pocket. He was taking off for scrambles and getting tackled. He looked comfortable, and seemed like there was no shoulder injury as well. So I'm gonna say Cowboys. I hate it. It hurts me to my core, but I will say the Cowboys in a very close game. Dak this time will get the game-winning touchdown and give the ball back to Justin Herbert, and they will not score. Unlike last week when he gave the ball back to Tom Brady, and everyone knows you don't do that.
This is tough.
Both defenses are just bad enough to make this game interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing, because the Chargers don't have the best defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really that good of a defense at all. But the Cowboys still don't have a good defense as well.
That secondary, they got sniped for Pat Surtain.
Yeah, secondary is definitely something that is still not great. I think I'm going to go Chargers in this game.
This is a toss-em up. This is a pick-em, honestly.
Yeah, I'm going Chargers because I think Eckler is going to have a good game. I think Eckler is going to go in and do what Eckler does. Keenan Allen is going to have a huge game in this as well. And I think Justin Herbert is going to be able to keep up with Dak enough to where they can get the win. I think he's going to make enough plays where they win this game. Honestly, this could get up to the 30s to 40s. That's how big of a score this could be, just because of how these defenses are. If the Chargers improve their defense, I think the Chargers would definitely win this game relatively easy. They really didn't do a whole lot to improve that defense, but I think offensively speaking, they're more than capable enough of keeping up with Dak Prescott. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. Close game. I'm thinking game-winning field goal again. And Dallas is going to barely lose once again. Now Nomadic Brian says Dak lifts the Cowboys over an improving Chargers team. And then Al Foxy says the Cowboys, Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper are going to light it up. Cowboys comeback game. That very well could be the case.
I'm hoping it's CeeDee Lamb that lights it up instead of Amari, because I have CD in a few in the 3 leagues.
I don't know. Do I have Keenan Allen in our league? I might.
I think you do.
But we're not playing each other this week either way. Thank you, Darren Waller. But
yeah. Thanks, Aaron Rodgers.
There you
go. Yeah.
But yeah, and then I lost in the Bring the Juice League, unfortunately. That was unfortunate. But I did win most of my leagues, which is a positive. Now we're going to bounce over to our Sunday night football game, and that is the Chiefs and Ravens. For some reason, Travis Kelce yesterday during the Manning and Eli thing they did for Monday Night Football didn't even know who he was playing. He thought he was playing the Ravens later down the road, thought he was playing the Raiders this upcoming week. He wasn't sure, but it's okay. I will let you go first on this one. Who do you have in this one and why?
So yeah, Kelce can do that because he knows that if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. He's always ready to play. He don't care who it is. This is going to be – it's funny because they're always trying to start the rivalry between Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. That doesn't exist. No. Patrick Mahomes owns Lamar Jackson every time they play each other. This is not going to be any different. I remember saying at halftime, and the Bears went up 20 – I think it was like 20-something to 10. And I said, don't get comfortable because the Texans were up 24-0 on these or 21-0 against these Chiefs and lost the game.
Yeah.
This team scores in abundance fast, and I was not impressed with the defense from the Ravens this past week. And yeah, they don't really have a running game. I know was it I forget his name already.
Tyrell, I think.
Tyron or something like that. I don't think he's gonna have another game like he had this past week. They're gonna be dependent on Latavius Murray and Lamar Jackson, and that defensive line in Kansas City is like very quietly great with Chris Jones. I already forget who else they had, but yeah, man, this team is just not.
They have the Honey Badger.
And the Honey Badger, if he's back, I don't know if he's back this week.
I don't know.
He was on the sideline for this one, but for this past week. But yeah, I think that Lamar Jackson's going to have another rough week and not going to run around like he usually does. Mm-hmm. When Patrick Mahomes has a literal just throw it up and pray every time he's in trouble, like in Tyreek Hill. I mean, it's a cheat code basically. It's not fair. Right. I hate Tyreek Hill because he likes to punch his son in the chest, but I can't deny that he is always open.
Right.
And Pat Mahomes knows exactly where to throw the ball.
Yep. I'm going Chiefs too. I think the Ravens, even if they were healthy completely, I think their team is not all that great. I don't think they're a good team. They're a team that is going to make the playoffs because of Lamar Jackson, but they're not a team that is going to compete for a Super Bowl because at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson, while he's not bad at passing, he can make some good throws, like for sure. Like he had some really nice looking throws yesterday, but you need somebody whose, best trait is passing the ball, not running the ball. And Lamar Jackson is a better runner than he is a passer, and that's eventually going to affect you. And defenses are going to not allow you to run all over them in the playoffs. They have receivers, so it's not like they're, they can only run because they don't have anybody to throw to. And their defense, is injured, so that's obviously going to play a factor into it. But their defense is good. Like, it's always been good, but they just don't have the offense to make a run. They got to have their defense be like an elite defense, like they had with Flacco when they won the Super Bowl. They have to be that type of a team. So I'm going with the Chiefs. The Chiefs should win this game relatively easy. I think injuries are going to affect the Ravens throughout the year. Don't be surprised if they don't make the playoffs this year.
I'm not.
Because the injuries. The injuries are going to affect them. And, Eventually when you get to your third or fourth running back on roster, when you're a run first team, it's going to affect you as you get down the road. That's why I'm not worried when the Colts play them. I know I wouldn't be worried, when a lot of teams like the Titans, I think, could beat the Ravens, because they have that, front, that defensive line and everything that can handle the run, I think. So I'm going Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a huge game today. I think Lamar Jackson is not going to have a big game today or Sunday. So Chiefs, big. And then going to the comments, Nomadic Brian says Ravens felt the loss of players. I think against the Raiders, Chiefs are healthy. So yes, it is true. But yeah, so that's how we feel. Now we're going to the last game. It's the Monday night football game between the Lions and the Packers, 2 0-1 teams. Congrats to you Lions fans. You're tied with the Packers in the division. Hang a banner up while you're at it. Dan Campbell's looking for that win.
And a Monday night game.
And it's a Monday night. Why is this a Monday night game? Like, even if Aaron Rodgers, was playing really good this year, which he might bounce back and play a great game. I mean, it is the Lions. Why? There's better games. Make the Rams and Colts the Monday night game.
I don't know. This should not be the Monday night game. It's ridiculous that it is. I don't understand this is probably one of those ones where they just want to show Aaron Rodgers on national TV throwing like 400 yards, probably 500 yards, so that everyone could be like, yes, Aaron Rodgers is the greatest of all time, and maybe most talented of all time. But I don't know about. Well, even then, he probably just got overtaken by Patrick Mahomes. So no, I don't understand. The Texans don't have a national game this year, or a Sunday night game or a Monday night game.
But you guys have a Thursday night though.
Yeah, we have a Thursday night. Those don't count.
Yeah, say everybody gets one of those. That's what it was like for us last year. So don't worry. But who do you have in this game?
Packers. Even if Aaron Rodgers has a really bad game, I can see Aaron Rodgers like maybe going off for like 3 touchdowns in the first half, and then him just saying like, I don't want to play anymore. Yeah. Put in Jordan Love, and then Jordan Love comes in and just game manages the rest of the day. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything to look forward to on this Lions team except T.J. Hawkinson. He's the only like shining light of this team. It was Galladay before. It was Matthew Stafford. Now there's nothing. Now this is just trying to get Sam Howell or Spencer Rattler for this team. Yeah. Poor Jared Goff, because I don't think Jared Goff deserves this. And I'm not a big hater of Jared Goff. I'm not a lover of him, but I don't hate him. He's definitely not deserving of being on this horrible Lions team. This should belong to, I don't even know. Fitzpatrick should be on the dang Lions because he has something else to do.
Yeah, true. I mean, look, based on what teams he was on in the past, that does make sense. But I'm happy he's on a team that might make the playoffs because he deserves it once. Yeah. I wanted to make the Pro Bowl one time so he could be a Hall of Famer. I just want him to be a Hall of Famer. Not first, second, or third ballot, but eventually.
He'll be on one of those years where the ballot's not great.
Yeah, maybe.
We got to put somebody that people love. You could put up the Fitzmagic memes where he looked like Conor McGregor, all that good stuff. That year.
Definitely. But I hope he does well. Blue Nation says, what's up? How's it going, man? Glad to see you stop by. Al Foxy says, Lions win and Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams leave Green Bay and hit the Colts up. I like that prediction. I actually think that's going to happen. Titans, Colts with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. It's all part of the plan. Nomadic Brian says Rodgers can't have 2 disasters in a row. Lions, not much going on. And then, what's up, Bruce? How you doing? He says, give me the Lions and another comeback of the century with 3 onside kicks and 3 Hawkinson touchdowns. LOL. Hey, potentially. I'm going with the Packers in this game. Look, I think the Packers defense is good enough to not allow Jared Goff to do his thing. I actually like DeAndre Swift.
I do too.
I think he's a piece that could do some good things for them. So I think he could have a pretty nice year because they have Hawkinson, and that's it for receiving.
That's it.
So you got to run the ball with DeAndre Swift or throw him the ball because I think he's a pretty solid running back. But I think the Packers are just too good. And I know they got beat, but let's remember this. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year lost their season opener to the Saints, and they lost pretty bad. And then everybody made jokes about Tom Brady saying, "Oh, he really wishes he never went to Tampa Bay, huh?"
Yeah.
And then people are making jokes saying, "Huh, Aaron Rodgers is hosting Jeopardy now, huh?"
Aaron Rodgers,
And Tampa Bay won a Super Bowl.
he's still in his honeymoon, man. Like
Yes.
he just got married to Shailene Woodley.
Yeah.
They're enjoying life right now. Right around like I want to say the end of September, it's gonna be back to like normal life. They're gonna be arguing. It's gonna be normal married life. He's gonna be back to where he was.
Definitely.
Right now, he's just in the honeymoon right now.
He's still hanging out with Miles Teller and all that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
He's on vacation.
Yeah, he's having fun. That's why he was in Hawaii. Because he was just having fun. But I think Aaron Rodgers will play well tonight, or Monday night, I should say. And he should come back with another good game. It's going to be a really big game for him, I think. Packers win, and Lions, unfortunately, go over.
This is actually a great game to have on national TV. Everyone's talking about how Aaron Rodgers put up a horrible game. He put up a stinker. Everyone's talking trash on him. What better way to get him on the good graces of everybody than to go on Monday Night Football and throw for 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, Yeah.
And Skip Bayless will say, well, he's just a drama queen.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be funny. It'll be hilarious.
It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. I love Skip, though. But that is going to be it, though. There's all of our predictions. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the stream. It is always a blast to see all of you guys in here. We're going to head off because I have to get ready for work.
Put the name on the screen. Let's see it.
I know what you're talking about.
Do it.
Let's put our names. Boom. There we go. Texans first in AFC South. We're going to get that out of there. That's not allowed here. Alec, that's not. I should have read the name first.
Shut up.
I didn't read the name. That's not allowed. But no, that is true. But that will change when the Colts win. And
it will.
This week, and the Texans. I don't know. Maybe the Texans beat the Browns. We don't know. But thank you all for tuning in. And then Nomadic Brian, real quick, he says I have to get my Colts by Numbers website up. Definitely. So, hey, thank you all for tuning in. I got to get ready for work. Alex, he's got things to do as well, I'm sure. So, thank you all for tuning in, stopping by. If you're watching this after the fact that it's uploads or whatever, hey, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It mean a lot. We're at 420 subscribers right now, so thank you to everybody who has clicked that subscribe button. Also, like the stream, whether you're here right now or if you're watching it later on. That way we can get this out to more Colts fans and NFL fans in general. Hit the notification bell. That way you get your notifications for live streams, for videos being uploaded, all that good stuff. And thank you all for tuning in. That is Alec. This is me. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.